Hey guys, it's Joe Walker here. What the flipping hell is going on? In today's video I'm going to share with you guys 3 top tips to make your kickflips significantly better. Right guys, if you're learning how to kickflip, then this video you're watching right now is probably the second video you want to watch. The first video you want to watch is my kickflip tutorial video. Now the foot positioning in that tutorial video will get your kickflips landed and consistent, and it's at that point that you've come to this video because we're going to build on that foot positioning. Tip number 1 is regarding the foot positioning. Let's get into it. So when I was learning to kickflip, I used to have my foot positioning like this, and this really helped me to get a consistent kickflip every time. The flipping was easy, the popping wasn't too high, so there wasn't so much of a confidence issue there. And I'll show you why this works to get them more consistent. So with the back foot being placed right across the board like so, and the toes over the edge there and over the edge there, this is going to make the pop not so high, so it'll really help me focus on just the flip of the trick, which is pretty much where the confidence issues lie. But it's also going to allow the back foot to get out of the way whilst the board is flipping and then land back on the bolts. So this doesn't work so well for height, but does work well for consistency. When I was learning to kickflip, my front foot would be right there at a 45-degree angle under the bolts, and this would just literally kick off the side of the board. The board would flip very quickly and then quickly back on the board after the flip had happened. When I have my feet like this, everything happens very quickly. Let me just try and demonstrate a kickflip with this foot positioning. Now for my kickflips, I have my feet like this. So my back foot has gone from this to this. It's like in the middle of the board, sometimes it's even lower, it's kind of like there, and it gives me one hell of a pop. And this pop, as with before, needs to be straight down into the ground, really hard. My front foot has gone from here to like here, really far on the board, and this is because with the higher pop, what I don't want is a faster flick. I want more of the drag up kick off the board. So the kick is actually a lot slower. The board flips a lot slower. The foot comes up and lands on the board when the flip has completed. So foot positioning was like this and is now like this. And I must say, in this second one, you will be able to move to this once you are more confident with the front foot flick, because you're basically going to spend more time in the air and more time on the board, and you need more control to do that. I must say though that this foot positioning feels a lot more stable, a lot more steady than the first one. Tip number 2 is about the shoulders. What do you do with your shoulders when you are doing a kickflip? I'm going to tell you what you do with your shoulders when you're doing a kickflip, and this tip is the most important tip that I could have used when I was learning to kickflip, and I never really saw it out there, so I really hope for some of you this really helps. Keep your shoulders parallel to your board. Do not face in the direction that you are going. Just keep your shoulders rooted in place, parallel to the board. The board and yourself should be traveling sideways at all times. What I found was happening when I was learning to kickflip, I was kickflipping and I was landing on the board but twisted with my shoulders like forwards in the direction I was going, and this is because naturally as humans we want to land that way to avoid the hazard of falling. However, the exact opposite is true when you're trying to do tricks on a skateboard. You want to remain sideways. So if you're going to do anything when you are learning how to kickflip, learning how to do any flip trick that doesn't involve any form of body rotation, it's keep your shoulders square to the board. I'm going to try and demonstrate what I mean here. I'll do a bail and then I'll do it properly. Have a look. Now tip number 3, and this one doesn't affect so many people, but it's how to avoid landing towards the nose of the skateboard. Now I found this happening to me a lot when I increased the speed of my kickflips. When I was doing them in motion, I would land over towards the nose. It wasn't so much of a problem because the momentum of the board kind of balanced me and took all the force with it, so I was able to stay on the board, but it just looks messy, it doesn't look nice. So I want to discuss with you a tip that allowed me to stop landing towards the nose so much and start landing with both the on the bolts or on the tail and the front bolts. And that is to, when you go down to pop and jump into the trick, I kind of go down towards the back leg or bend over the back knee. A good way to gauge this is to have the center of your chest bent over your knee. Then you know you're kind of bending correctly. So you're keeping tip number 2, shoulders parallel, and you're bending with your center down over your back leg. And then you are popping, kicking, rising, landing and down. So tip number 3, when you go down, to stop landing towards the nose of the board, bend down over your back leg. I hope that one makes sense. I'll try and demonstrate it here, first to bail and then correctly. Let's go. There we have it guys, my 3 top tips to help you improve your kickflips. These readjustments have actually helped me so much that I can now consistently kickflip off a curb, off a box, a 2 set. I've even kickflipped down a 3 set. So I really hope that at least 1 or 2 of the tips in this video, you can apply them to your kickflip once you have them consistent and get them improved as much as I have. Because my kickflips have got a long way to go. I still want to get that ninja kick down. Haven't quite got that yet, but they've definitely improved. They've got more height than they used to, and that's important to me. I can now hear a pop, which I like, rather than just like this strange scooping noise. Nothing wrong with that. In my opinion, consistency is much more important than skill, especially when you're starting out. But this is how to take that consistency and being able to do the trick every time to start to begin to make it look more stylish, and maybe even take it to doing it off like a curb. This is like the next step. How are your kickflips, guys? Do you have any hints or tips on how to improve your kickflip that weren't included in this video? If you do, please do leave them down in the comments below. That would be greatly appreciated. I want to say a huge thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.